Welcome to the FRC Top 25, week number 1 for 2023 Charge Up season. Week 1 is coming in strong. We had over 425 votes to showcase the 25 teams who fought hard to be part of week 1's FRC Top 25. Of course, we'll count down the top 25, debut our clips of the week. We also have a reveal video from 1339 Angel Box to show off and have some healthy debate in chat for teams that got snubbed. Let's get ready for the FRC Top 25. This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. If your team is using SOLIDWORKS, make sure you log into the 3D Experience platform to gain access to tutorials, collaborate with other users, and download the Charge Up field and kit up parts. Go to solidworks.com/first and click on Log into 3D Experience platform to gain access. FRC competition season is here. Submit your favorite moments to FRC Clips of the Week by each Sunday at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. Also, the FRC Top 25 poll is open Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern to Monday 5 p.m. Eastern, where you can vote for your top 25 teams of the week at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week number 1 for First Updates Now. I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Ari McMahon.
I'm Ryan Swanson.
And I'm Justin Montoya. We have a couple new hosts that will periodically be on FRC Top 25, along with Mike and Christine, who have the night off. So Ari and Ryan, why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Ari. This is my 8th year in FRC and my 4th with fun. Normally, you'll see me on Nor'easter Recap on Mondays or volunteering around Southern New England and New York City. Took a small break last year to finish up school, but I'm back this year, and I'm hyped to be kicking off Top 25 Week 1 with you guys.
All right, we're so happy to have you back, by the way.
Thanks, Tyler.
Hey, I'm Ryan Swanson. I'm the head coach of Team 6045 out of Sartell, Minnesota. I'm an alumni of Team 4607. I've been a mentor for them for 8 years prior to this. Looking forward to participating in the fun show today and try to give you the best insight that I can.
And Ryan, congratulations on a week 1 win, by the way, for your team.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yep, we're going to try to go back-to-back this week, going into the Great Northern Regional Week 2. And, hopefully next week we can make the top 25. I think that'd be a good goal for our team.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about a couple things. We're going to have a little bit of discussion on FRC on week 1. Real quick, I just want to mention before we get into all the stats you're going to see on screen, before we get into discussions for that, we are going to be showing you, of course, the top 25 teams, counting them down on screen. We're also going to be showing you some extra metrics from our friends at stackbotics.io, who are going to be showing something called EPA. So EPA is for, why am I blanking on this all of a sudden? I had it up on there, but expected point something. That's all right.
Expected points added.
Thank you. So, but just a couple notes for expected points added and what they're doing. They do say that make sure you treat that with a grain of salt, and it's not a substitute to real scouting. The ratings are also taking into account last season's performance as well. And before we get into the top 25, there are some particulars that we'll kind of cover on there. I think I accidentally clicked off our show doc somewhere, so sorry about that. Justin, what did you see in week number 1, man, by the way?
So I was actually super impressed with a lot of the teams that I saw. I was able to, we were off this week, so I was able to take in a lot of the events. And I think that I read or heard somewhere that there's like over 30% of teams were competing week 1, which is a huge number. There was events all over the world and, all different parts of the week. I think we were able to watch events and all the way from Thursday until late Sunday night with Winemee. But really impressed with how teams were able to come out of the gate week 1. I saw some great autonomous modes. There were some really cool match strategies that initially I didn't think this game strategy-wise was super deep. There was some very, very cool ways that alliances, especially in the playoffs, were able to coordinate to shorten cycles and really increase their scores. And I'm excited to see what teams are able to do this week. And we have a really good slate of teams to talk about in this top 25.
How about you, Ari? What did you see in week number 1?
Yeah, so I was actually at the official Week 0 event, so I kind of got a preview on what this game was going to actually pan out like. And, I mean, originally when I saw this game, like at the reveal video, I was kind of like, it's a lifting game. It's kind of like, 2011-ish. It's not really going to be interesting to watch. But at both Week 0 and watching Granite State, I've been absolutely blown away about how fast-paced and interesting this game actually is. I love cycles that we're getting and the end game engagement. very engaging for me as an audience member, and I look forward to how it's going to evolve.
Ryan, you guys, as we mentioned before, your team took a week 1 event up at Lake Superior. So I'm sure you're feeling pretty high off winning the event itself, but how do you feel about the charged up game?
Yeah, no, I've never been so happy to be wrong about an FRC game. Kickoff, I'm like, it's a glorified FTC game. I'm not, overly excited. We'll do our best with, inspiring kids with it. But we get to the tournament, playing this game strategically, super fun. The game itself, I thought, was engaging for the audience. All around, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased because we did really well, but really, really good experience. And I think I'm excited to see how it progresses going forward. We're going to fill this thing up. The chart, all the grid is going to be full by, I bet it happens week 2 or week 3. And then the game dynamic is going to shift dramatically, I think. So it's going to be kind of fun to watch how it all plays out.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how autos start to play out. We saw some very interesting ones this week, and I want to see what happens when we start actually grabbing more stuff from the middle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for that race. I'm a little worried that's going to be like the 2015 Can race, so we'll see how that turns out. For me, so I was at Fit Waco and Fit Dallas this weekend, and man, there's parts of the game I like, but I have to admit, I came in actually very optimistic about the game. Week 0, I actually felt like my stock in this game fell a bit from it. Watching Fit, kind of the same, but I'll tell you, when Port Hueneme came up, that ending in Finals 4 was absolutely incredible. And watching that, man, that I've never been so glued to watching. That felt like a championship match right there. So that was really cool. We had Mike Corsetto on last night, by the way, in FRC Roundup. So if you haven't caught that and get his perspective as a drive coach of Citrus Circuits, go ahead and check that out as well, too. But yeah, this game overall is interesting. We put a poll up in chat, by the way, and how do you feel about Charged Up with the options being love it, Matt, or Justin, just for you, 2015 bad. And so far, it seems like people love it so far. So with about 79% of the vote as we go through, you can still vote on that as well. So super cool. Any last thoughts for week 1 before we hop into the top 25?
I do. I think it's been a discussion from the beginning, but I do think that Ryan is right. I do think that the grids are going to be filled up, and I just don't know what's going to happen on Einstein. I don't think it's super realistic that it's going to be like, well, perfect game to perfect game, tie, try it again, perfect game. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think there's going to be just a razor thin margins that are going to separate the teams. And I guess I'm a little bit worried because it's an unfortunate way to lose, like missing one cone or one cube takes a bad bounce and that costs you a world championship. So I don't necessarily love that, but we'll see how it plays out. I've been wrong before.
Especially when eliminations are so unforgiving this year with double elimination.
Yeah.
Elite tier swerve defense. That's what I'll say. I think bump and run while you're cycling. I think it's going to be 2014 levels of fun to watch at a high level.
Well, here's the thing, though, is like watching Port Hueneme and the finals for that. I spoke to the Corsetto about this post show as well too. It is absolutely insane to watch how quick these robots are. Like maybe I am truly getting old because I feel like my reaction times to watching these robots on screen, I can't even keep up with how. Like, can you imagine being a driver of some of those robots that are going that fast? Like somebody brought up a point, I think it was on Cheat Delphi, in regards to speed. Like, I wonder at some point, do we limit the speed of robots, the right, slow stuff down? Because it's absolutely incredible to see how quick it is. And you look at, Ryan, back to 2014, which is now a decade ago practically, right? So you look at the speed of the robots then versus robots now, it's not even a close comparison for what that looks like. It's absolutely insane. So let's talk a little more about StatBotics.io and what you're going to see on screen as we get into the top 25. Just a couple things for them. So we were using ELO before, or some people said ELO. You can type in exclamation EPA if anybody needs an explanation of what that is, or anybody asks in chat as well too. But EPA uses live updating data to find actual insights and analyze historical trends. We're going to show you teams ranked by community vote, but then you're going to see some stats below that show what their numbers are for EPA as well too. So if you hear us say EPA, that's what we're talking about for that. A couple things, by the way, from the folks over at StatBotics.io. Talked to them yesterday. A few things they want to mention. One of 2056's matches had the auto and teleop score swapped in StatBotics. So they still have a 78 EPA that you'll see. They're still the highest for EPA, but there might be a couple things off with their auto and EPA or auto and teleop. ISR District 2 is missing some elimination matches, and PCH Albany District did not upload score breakdowns to Statbotics as well. So there are a couple abnormalities as we go through. The 99% is good in regards to what the stats look like. By the way, poll results, 74% saying they do love the charged up game. So that's awesome on there. So we have 25 teams to get into. You're going to see them come up on screen. We'll show you some match videos for them as well. And coming into number 25, Ari, why don't you kick us off?
Let's get into it. Our first top 25 for the season. Starting us off with a bang from Mountain Home, Arkansas. It's Mountain Home and Mountain Home High School Career Academy. It's Hall of Fame team Bomb Squad. With a record of 14-3-0 and winners of the Arkansas Regional, they were the 4th seed and first pick of the 2 seed. With a tilting elevator, they prefer cones from the human player station. They've got a 1 game piece auto that comes around the back of the charge station, which will possibly allow a partner to climb on with them in future weeks. They exploded into the playoff rounds, going undefeated and defeating the 1 seed by 1 point. Their stellar placement and game piece output setting them apart. Congrats on the win, Dean's List, and Innovation in Controls Award, and we'll see them next at Week 5 in the Bayou.
It's excellent to see 16 back on the list. And Ari, thank you so much for including that they're a Hall of Fame team. It's something I always try to do in the top 25 is highlight that status. So thanks for not forgetting that. Well done.
Yeah, they kind of surprised me. I think that they're a bit slower right now, but they've got a lot of potential in that robot. The one thing I am concerned about is they are pretty big, so often they're left off of the charge station when they go to engage at the end. But other than that, they keep scoring at the end, and their placement has only gotten better over the competition. So I think this is a good spot for them, and I think that they'll go up in the future.
Yeah, I think if you did a blind, I don't want to say a taste test, I don't know how to describe it, but if you could see the robot with no labels, it almost looks like a cheesy poof robot. It has a very cheesy poof aesthetic, but it's definitely a great machine. I'm excited to see how it progresses.
They're black, though. They're not blue. I don't think they taste the same. Okay. Moving up to the 24th spot from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and the St. Mary Catholic Secondary School, it's Makeshift Robotics. With a record of 15-3-0, they were the first rank and winners of the Georgian district. They sport an every color but pink arm and a passive pinch grabber that collects game pieces off of the floor. 4039 has the second highest endgame stat on our top 25 tonight. Their small size ensuring that they can make shifting easier and engage. They ended qualifications with 34 total ranking points and a 2.83 rank score, and the activation bonus in every single match. They went undefeated through playoffs, taking the district in 2 finals matches, with the difference in finals 2 being the triple engage at the end. Congrats on the win and Excellence in Engineering Award, and we'll see them again at Week 3 at the Western University Engineering event.
I like how you said every color but pink on the arm.
It's like orange and green and blue. Like, you could have just thrown some pink on there.
4039's been on my radar since I think 2015. They came out with the Roy G. Biv reveal video. And I just, I still picture that video in my head today.
We won a Florida with them in 2015 and with that robot. And we've gone to the Stemley Cup every year for the past few years. So we love Makeshift, and we're very happy to see them earn that win this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, their aesthetics obviously stand out a lot. It's great to see their robots having some performance. I know they that maybe not last year, but a couple of years they had a couple down years. So cool to see them continually to kind of be where we expect Makeshift in many years in a great spot. And congratulations to them.
Yeah, they're an awesome team. Great to work with. Great to be around. So really glad to see them on here. So we'll move up to the 23 spot next. Out of Grand Rapids, Michigan and Forest Hills School District, it's Comets. 3357 was ranked 1 with a record of 15-2-0 at the Calvin University District and went on to win the event. They're super tiny. They're a quick little machine, streaking like a comet across the field. They intake cones and cubes from the ground with a very wide collector that also works quite well from the retrieval station. I absolutely love this robot design. I think it is one of my favorites this year. I think it's excellent in both the retrieval station and off the ground. Absolutely love what they've done here. They have the highest endgame of anyone on this list at 12.5 because they are 21 by 26. teeny tiny little thing. They're well balanced as well. So they make sliding in between partners at the end of match for a triple engage look so easy. Despite 2 losses, they ended qualifications with a rank score of 2.58, with those activation bonuses being the difference. In playoffs, their alliance had a triple engage in 4 of their 5 matches, cementing their win in finals 149-75. Congrats on an excellent event, 3357, and we'll see them next at West Michigan in week 4. So, honestly, before we start, I gotta say, they're a bit low for me. I had them closer to the high teens. I think they built a really good machine, and they hit out the gate running, and running fast at that. So where did you guys see them this week?
For me, they're the last of a dying breed, right? The top tier tank drive robot. Really cool to see that they're proving you can still do it on a tank drive. They're an excellent robot, fun to watch. The small frame is really going to benefit them going forward into the championship.
Yeah, totally. I was going to say a similar thing. Seeing Comets still rocket with the tank drive and still doing fantastic. I know they're very proud of having the tank drive as well too, and keeping that way and still being a top tier team. Ari, I agree with you. I have them up a few spots as well. I do question kind of similar to last year. They came out really strong, and I think they're how good they were on the field did taper off a little bit later on last season. I think it might happen this year unless we see something else come from them. So I'll be interested to see what Comets brings to the table for future events.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. I love their reveal video and just can't wait to see them get more experience. All right. Let's move on. From Austin, Texas and Westlake High School. It's 2468. Let's go. Team Appreciate. 15-1-1 and currently first in the First in Texas district. Team 2468 was the second seed and winner of the FIT Dallas event. 2468's gameplay style favors cubes and cones from the ground, which they place smoothly. They've got a number of auto modes to back this up, where they place a cube and engage, or almost grab 2 cubes and engage. Their style of play works well with whoever they're partnered with. Their low CG tilted elevator is truly appreciated when it comes time to engage at the end of the match. They took finals by 2 points, making the difference with their teleop game pieces scored. Congrats on the win, and Engineering Inspiration Award for that gold, silver cling bling. We'll see them week 3 at the San Antonio event next.
So yeah, I was at FIT Dallas for the first day, so I didn't see the final script on the plane home for things. But yeah, I mean, coming in 2468 and then 3005 or 3005. Sorry, guys. It's definitely we're definitely the favorites coming in. I will admit, to see the Blue Lions getting a huge run for their money in the finals was really exciting for that. I think a lot of people thought that the number 1 Alliance is just going to completely sweep through and it was going to be kind of blowouts all the way. So it was great to see a tough final. 2468, by the way, I really like the robot. We filled the behind the bumpers with them. We'll be coming out in a day or two. And looking forward to seeing more what this team has to bring. Also took EI as well, too, which I think probably surprises many of us not to see them take the Impact Award as well. But 2468 has always been the complete package to me. They've always been my perennial favorites to be a Hall of Fame team, and they bring a fantastic robot every year, too.
For sure.
Yeah, looking forward to that behind the bumpers. They were one of the teams that I was like, what is going on in that robot? Like, turned up my DPI on the YouTube video, and I was like trying to zoom in. Looking forward to that, though. Okay, let's move on to the 21st spot out of Lapeer, Michigan and Lapeer High School. It's Strike Zone. Winner of Kettering 1 with a record of 15-2-0, 5460 was the second seed and first pick of the first seed. They grab the cone by the close lip and hand off to an arm, cycling oriented cones from the floor and cubes from the station. If you watch their first match versus the finals, there's actually a huge improvement that 5460 did over the course of the event. So they got their auto working and their drivers striking in the right zone. 5460 is going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. They went on to win their first ever autonomous award, so congrats on that. And the win, and we'll see them next in the Ontario district at the Western University Engineering event in week 3.
Sorry, did you say Ontario?
Yes, they're going to Ontario.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow.
there was a Canadian, not immediately jump off them, but there was also a Canadian Pacific 3 FIM teams went, the Robodogs teams went up there as well. So cool to see lots of travel for that. Strike Zone, by the way, though, I mean, once again, another one of those perennial FIM teams you see constantly up there and doing great things. For last year, I think they were also a tank with the turret as well too. For this year, I think just continual improvement from this team. We're just seeing, some of those other teams from Michigan coming out of the fold over these last few years and starting to tier up and rank up really well. And this is a team that definitely holds into that as well.
Completely agree. I think seeing them with their arm, they've got a lot of room to improve, which is really good to see week 1, especially ranked so high. But yeah, really looking forward to what they do at Western University, which a lot of really good Canadian teams are going to. So that'll be exciting.
And apologies, we had the wrong video up, but here's the right one. You get like 5 seconds of it. So, sorry, real quick, you got to check out this 5460 thing here on the right side of the screen. I just noticed it's just kind of one of those funny things where they go to score, and it drops to. Oh, that's right, those don't count down there. I was really hoping
that was intentional.
Yeah, no, that counts. Wait, no,
look at that.
Damn.
It counts. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I was confusing myself. Like that's always fun to see when that happens. Sorry, Ryan.
No, you're good. I was just going to say there's so many good teams in Michigan that I'll be watching the FIM state championship, not having followed all the district events leading up to it. And I can't even remember half the teams that are, dominating. I always remember this team. They stick out to me. I've been in the same division with them at World Championships a couple of times, talked to them. They're incredible people. And they've got a great robot this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out for them.
For sure. All right. Want to move into the top 20?
Let's do it.
All right. So in the 20th spot, I have team 6800 from Austin, Texas, Vandergrift High School. It's Valor, 11-5 overall, and we're the semifinalists at the Waco district event. So Valor hit the field with their new colors this weekend in Waco. The black and gold machine was one of the fastest I saw all weekend. The single master machine seeded 4th and were quickly selected to the number 1 alliance. They did stumble a little bit in the playoffs, but this machine will certainly get better as the FIT season goes on. They have an off week to work on the robot, and they will be back on the field at week 3 in San Antonio. So congrats on building a great robot, and good luck as the season progresses. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch Valor. I think they spent more time on 2 wheels than any other team I saw this weekend. I didn't see them fall over any, but if you think about the old cartoons of cars at 2 wheels going around the corner, they were on 2 wheels a lot during the event. They were fast, and it was really cool. They have a very unique machine. I've heard a few complaints about this game perhaps not really lending itself to robot diversity, but Valor definitely has a unique machine, and it's going to be very, very good as they iterate and the season progresses.
Yeah, for me, Valor's a team where we had them on Behind the Bumpers. We also did Behind the Glass with them, so you can hear one of their matches, which of course the fun curse lives on. They had not the best time during that, but that happened. So man, I'll agree with you, Justin. I think this robot has such a high ceiling. I don't know if I've had them on the top 25 this week personally. They had some issues going in. They had some control issues going in, and they'll admit themselves that there's things that need to be fixed with that robot as well too. So a great team. I think they have a really good opportunity to be a top 10 team, no doubt, in the FRC top 25. And I look forward to them in future weeks. They definitely have some improvements to do.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to their marketing department or whoever put together their technical binder. It was really more than that. It was really about their whole team. It was very, very well done. Our students really enjoyed reading it, so it was well done on that as well. All right, so moving along, 19, one of my favorite teams of all time, 4613 from Hornsby, New South Wales, Australia. And Barker College is the Barker Redbacks, 17-0, undefeated winners of the Canadian Pacific Regional. So making the trip to Victoria, British Columbia, Barker looked to continue the regional winning ways at CPR. They went undefeated through quals and claimed the number 1 seed. They put together a fabulous playoff alliance with 359 and 244, and the alliance shelled quickly and were the only playoff alliance to score over 100 points in each of their matches. It's one of the smallest drivetrains in FRC. I heard it was 18 by 18. I don't know. It didn't look that small in the video. I heard rumors it was FTC legal, but it was a very small, very fast, great scoring machine. And they will continue their season this weekend in Australia, having just competed in Canada. And then they'll be back in the US for week 6. So 3 different events in 3 different countries. So good luck to the Barker Redbacks, 46-13.
The one thing I'll say real quick is Barker was originally signed up for the Izmir regional in Turkey for week 1, and about a week and a half ago they had to change their plans. They got their plans finalized a week and a half ago to come to Canada as well. So I can't imagine the logistics that go into, like, you're supposed to go to one country and then you cancel all that and have to go to across the pond to a whole new country. That's the logistics of that are absolutely crazy. Yeah, Justin, I don't know about the size, man. I heard similar things. It was FTC legal, and FTC legal means 18 by 18 or less to me. It'd be interesting to see with bumpers off what that measures.
Yeah, it definitely did look small, but I don't know if it was 18 by 18 small, but a great robot nonetheless from Barker.
I love seeing tiny robots like year to year. Barker always builds small, so seeing that they built even smaller this year is very funny to me.
I was excited when I saw very early on 195 put out that teaser that had a very, very small robot. It might have been 14 by 14. It was so tiny, but who knows what's going to happen when we get the chance.
I know some teams, international teams, they'll build small specifically because they'll be shipping their robot or carrying their robot in a carry-on. And I know 4481, for example, they'll disassemble everything, put it into their carry-on, and they'll reassemble it when they get to the event. So potentially, I don't know if Barker's doing the same thing, but I know that's been a consideration for some.
Gotcha. All right, good deal. Moving from oh no, did I mess up my doc?
You're on 19 and 18.
18, yeah, I'm good. So in the 18th spot is Team 1477 from Conroe, Texas, the Woodlands and Couch Park High School. It's the Texas Torque, 11-5 overall, and we're the semifinals at the Waco District event. So 1477 with the robot Offset swerved their way into the 2nd seed in Waco. This robot features a ground intake, which hands off to their claw, which is offset from their telescoping arm. It's programmed really well. And the robot zips around the field. They played in the playoffs with 27-14 Barbecue and 47-17, and they weren't able to reach the finals, but they're definitely getting ready to make a good run for their district championship. So the next event before this one, or before the district championship, is Houston, week 4. So good luck to 1477 Texas Torque. So I kind of put them in the same category as Valor a little bit. They showed, I guess, flashes of brilliance. They looked great in some of their matches. But weren't smooth enough maybe to be considered much higher than 18th. The robot looks beautiful. It's really well machined and well put together. It just wasn't quite there. Wasn't quite ready to compete at Waco. Did you guys get a chance to watch it all?
Yeah, I mean, I was at Waco for a day, so I saw them their first day, and we also have a BTB for them too. So there's a couple things that can get improved that are, I think, things that you'll see in their next event. Their spin dexter right now is manual, so they actually have to manually move that cone inside their spin dexter. So that is something that they said they couldn't get done by their first event, and they plan on having that fully automated by their next one. 1477 was one of those where in the beginning I thought they looked kind of wonky, but then actually as the quals progressed, I thought they looked way better. Now, I didn't really get a chance to watch quals of the second day of their event, so I don't really know how that turned out. The Waco event, too, had a little bit of a scorched earth scenario as Houdybot seeded first, and then a couple teams declined in that as well, too. So, for overall performance, I thought Texas Torque was really good. I think I was discussing with some people at Waco, at least on day one, that to me, the best robots at the time either look like them or why am I blanking the team name? World champions last year as well. Fusion Core look like the best robots after day one as well. So I'm looking for big things out of Texas Torque still. And I definitely think they can make it happen.
For sure.
Yeah, consistently one of the best teams in Texas. So they'll definitely pull through district championships. Can't wait to see this robot in action then.
To me, it looks like a more complicated robot that's ultimately going to have a higher ceiling. Yep. It's just going to take a little longer to get there.
For sure. All right, going from 18 to 17, we're going to talk about 11-14 from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Governor Simcoe Secondary School at Hall of Fame, Robotics, 13-5 overall, and were the winners of the Georgian District event. So, a perennial powerhouse, Symbiotics began their 2023 campaign this weekend. They were a quick cycler with well-programmed double-jointed arm. I think that's really going to be the key for robots like that. Double-jointed arms are historically difficult to for control programming, but it looks really, really well done. Scores on all levels quickly and efficiently. Symbiotics was quickly scooped up by top-seeded Makeshift Robotics, which we talked about earlier. And along with 76.59, they're able to take 5 straight matches to earn the blue banner. So great start for Symbiotics. They'll be back in action in week 4 at Waterloo. So a quick side note about this. As I was writing these, I opened up Chat GPT and I was like, write me a top 25 write-up for team 1114. I kid you not. It wasn't like top 25 specific. They didn't know about their records or anything like that. But it spit out like 8 paragraphs on Symbiotics. I was so impressed. It's like, this has potential here. The workload might be alleviating a little bit. It was very cool.
We don't have time for 8 paragraphs. We barely have time for 8 sentences.
I'll say, Justin, you gonna tease us like that? And not read off any of them? Come on.
I can't pull it up if you want, but I should actually read the first paragraph because it was very impressive.
If you got it ready, yeah, man.
Yeah. I just gotta pull up my account real quick. So I mean, I'm a high school teacher, so my students have been talking about Chat GPT a little bit as well. But I was like, how good is this? And it turns out it's pretty good. So
yeah, so what do we think about 1114 higher than 4039?
yeah,
1114's got that name recognition, Hall of Fame team. Objectively, one of the greatest first teams of all time. I think that helps quite a bit in this type of a vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but to the actual question, are they better than Makeshift?
Personally, I think they are. I think
Yeah.
Makeshift had a few issues with their intake and some placement issues, and they can't really pick up off in certain positions because they have that passive grabber. And I think 1114 definitely has the higher ceiling. I think they're very similar right now. I had them a lot closer together, but it's interesting to think about.
So here's what ChatGPT says. FRC Team 1114, also known as Symbiotics, is one of the most dominant teams in the history of the FIRST robotics competition. They have consistently been ranked among the top teams in the world with a reputation for innovation, strategic gameplay, and exceptional engineering. In the 2022 FRC season, Symbiotics once again show why they are one of the best teams in the world. The Ontario Provincial Championship, they ranked first overall and went on to win the event, securing their spot at the World Championship. I was like, this is insane. I was so impressed with, and this is different than it was before. Because I don't know if it learned in this short amount of time, but because when I wrote it before, they didn't mention anything about their performance last year. But very impressed with Chat GPT. If only I could say it.
That's great.
We're going to be out of a job soon.
Telling you. All right. So last of my group, certainly not least, in the 16th spot is Team 3467 from Windham, New Hampshire. Windham 4H is the Windham Windup, 12-0-1, undefeated winners of the Granite State District event. So Windham was one of the teams that noticed right away at the Week 0 event in Nashua, and they came out ready to play again this weekend in Salem. Another team with a well-programmed double-jointed arm, they made quick work of all scoring locations. With the top spot, they picked the outliers and then 80-23, and the Alliance was able to strive for 5 and take the event win. Congrats to them on an impressive performance, and you can catch them in their second district event, Week 3 in North Shore. Congrats and good luck to 3467, the Windham Windup. And I actually have I believe a story about Windham. Their drive coach, I think, was unable to coach this weekend. So one of their mentors that actually is mentoring a team here in Rochester, who is remote mentoring 3467, ended up being the drive coach like on a whim this weekend.
Wow. And
coached them to a win, which was pretty cool. But another double jointed arm, great robot from Windham, and it was fun to watch them this weekend.
Yeah, they're an open alliance team too. So if you have any thing you want to know about that double jointed arm, it's on a thread on Chief Delphi and also behind the bumpers.
Sure.
Yeah, they definitely impressed me. They were at Week 0. They came out. That's me. Came out, took the district by storm at Granite State. So just awesome to see them from Week 0 go to a different event and see a good amount of success there.
Their OA thread was easily my favorite one to follow throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Them in 4481. Love seeing high-level teams, sharing what they're doing. I learned a lot from it. I'm sure many other people did too.
Yeah, that alliance was so good as well. Just shout out to Outliers and 8023 both right now, because that alliance just congealed very well, and 8023 was just tiny. It was perfect. I'm showing my New England here.
Ryan, let's get us into the top 15 teams. Who do you got at number 15?
Yeah, so coming in at number 15, we've got team 695 from Cleveland, Ohio, and Beechwood High School. We have Bison Robotics. Cruising their way through the South Florida Regional at 17-0, they landed themselves their first blue banner of the new season. 695 has been around since the 01 season, and they got their first win actually last season as a second-round pick. They've carried that momentum into this new year, and won in convincing fashion as the number one captain. 695 comes out of Auton with a high cone, mobility, and balance, all in auto. They use their angled elevator with their swerve drive and effective intake to score 8 game pieces with a triple balance to cap off Finals 2 of the South Florida Regional. And they took the win with a score of 154 points. 695 also walked away from the event with the Excellence in Engineering Award, and is positioned really well for both the Miami Valley and Buckeye regionals later in the season. Congratulations to Team 695 for an amazing season so far, and I'm really excited to see you guys out in Houston.
Man, we saw a couple other hosts from who were at South Florida as well too, just talking this team up. And Ryan, you're so right, man. Like coming in, talk about improvement, like the most improved team ever, right? Like I'll give my team of the week right now to Bison Robotics, because like absolutely incredible coming in, watching this team where you just like who, and absolutely just dominating on the field and just looking great. So cool to see a new great team on the field performing so well, and huge congrats to Bison Robotics for a very, very, very well-deserved win, especially coming in from way out of state to take South Florida, which is typically a pretty difficult event as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw them seeded first, and also on the EPA site, they were ranked super, super high at the end of the first day of South Florida. I went and I pinged James, who was there, and I was like, who is this team? Because they have absolutely no history besides last year. And he was able to like get down and really like talk them up. And they had a robot last year that was minimally competitive, and then in the off season they built a new robot, and they've just continually improved from there. So very excited to see where this team goes this season and also beyond.
You know, I don't know if that's a change in mentorship, a change in culture, but I would love to learn that story so that, you know, we could apply whatever they've done to other teams around the world.
Yeah. But welcome to the top 25. So that's awesome.
All right. Coming in now at number 14, we've got team 4499 from Fort Collins, Colorado, and Beechwood High School. We have the Highlanders dominating the Utah Regional with a record of 16-2. The Highlanders found themselves ranked first, and they managed to take home the win after going to 3 matches in the finals against 21-22 and company. 4499 has been around since 2013. And they have 3 wins, 3 Chairman's Awards, and 2 Woody Flowers Finalist Awards, along with many, many other awards. They're a very decorated team. Their robot is what I would describe as a true pink arm, which can extend and rotate more than 180 degrees. Their near full width intake enables them to quickly intake cones and cubes from anywhere on the field. In their first playoff match, the one we were showing right now, they run 11 cycles, and they give their alliance a huge victory by nearly 100 points. Congratulations to Team 4499 on the incredible robot. They're going to be a force at the Colorado and Rocket City regionals that they have coming up.
Yeah, 4499, a team that, I mean, especially after last year with 3 finalist awards coming in, taking a blue banner here, very well earned for them. You know, they were my favorite reveal video of premiere night. Actually, they might have won the best of show as well, too. And just such a great team that have a good season last year, but not quite able to get over top this year, coming out of the gate firing really well. Utah, not the most competitive regional out there, but regardless, still very well deserved. And I think more blue banners are in their future.
Totally agreed. So yeah, coming in now at number 13, Hall of Fame team 359 from Waialua, Hawaii, and Waialua High School. We have the Hawaiian Kids. Going 16-1 at the Canadian Pacific Regional, 359 found themselves ranked second right behind 4613, whom they teamed up with to take home their 31st win in team history. Wow. Having been around since the 2000 season, 359 has racked up tons of wins, including 2 last year and 1 already this season. 359 is utilizing a vertical elevator with articulating wrist on a linear extension to efficiently intake and score anywhere. In finals match 1 of the Canadian Pacific Regional, they score 7 total game pieces and they triple balance to enable a final alliance score of 175 points, which included 45 penalty points from a dead robot that ended up in their community. 359 also took home the Gracious Professionalism Award, and they're in prime position to compete at each of their next 3 events, as well as the World Championship in Houston. And, kind of fun fact, or maybe not so fun, depending on where you're from, no Canadian teams qualified from the Canadian Pacific Regional.
And there was 3 extra wildcards awarded, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Hawaiian Kids, I thought last year had a great robot coming out once again, looking awesome. I can't wait to see them in Las Vegas in week 5. It's going to be a great time to be able to catch up with Glenn and all the other team members there and see another great robot by 359.
Absolutely. 4 regionals too. I couldn't imagine. I'm doing a back-to-back this week, and that's plenty for
them
me.
And Barker, man. Actually, Justin, your team does a lot as well too. Typically,
yeah, we do 3, and we think that's insane. 4 is out of this
but
world.
That's all in state,
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right. Speaking of a team that does a lot of events, at number 12, we've got team 3538 from Rochester, Michigan, and Avondale High School. We have the Robo Jackets, going 16-1 at FIM's Milford event. The Robo Jackets teamed up with 67 to win their first blue banner of the new year. 3538 has been around since 2011, but has been really world-class since 2016, winning 15 blue banners and making Einstein twice in that time. 3538 has a unique design that utilizes a double-jointed arm on an angled elevator to score at all locations. The mechanisms are super refined, and that allows 3538 to quickly intake from the double substation. They get in and out, and they rarely take more than a second to intake the cone. 3538 scores 8 game objects in finals 2 on their way to winning the Milford event with a score of 131 to 109. 3538 will be competing at the Muskegon event, as well as almost certainly the Michigan State Championship event after that.
Muskegon? Is it
I might have
Muskegon?
Muskegon?
I don't know what it is.
Muskegon.
In Wisconsin,
Muskegon.
we'd say Muskegon. So
Muskegon.
Yeah.
You're a Midwesterner, Ryan. Come on.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
RoboJack is another one of those teams for the last few years. This team has just been a top tier team. So this year doesn't disappoint from them. They come out firing super strong once again, and this is exactly what I expect from RoboJackets now. I think they are at that level where you just expect them to have tier 1 robot every year now.
Love that teal too. Such a good color.
Their strategy is second to none. Allison, their drive coach, is if you've ever worked with her, you learn a lot. She's the most organized person I've worked with.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say for them, I'm trying to look at. I remember last year, I think they had an early exit at, they lost in the finals at MSC, didn't they? And they had an early exit, I think. Yeah, early exit at Hopper last year. So, a team like this who was on the quarters at championships, definitely not letting that get them down at all. And I think they're definitely looking for something a bit more than quarterfinalists at championships this year.
Yep, I would expect big things. Their robot is unreal. So next up, coming in at number 11, we have 4481. From Eindhoven, Netherlands, and a member of Team Rev, we have Team Rembrandts, going 13-4-1 in the difficult. I'm gonna butcher this one too, Tyler.
All right.
Yeneme
Port
Regional.
Wainimi.
You got it. Yep, I should have just let you do it. That one. 4481 found themselves facing off with Einstein team 1678 and 4414 in the finals. Some of the best matches you're going to see all year. We'll go into a bunch of them later as we've got teams coming up. 4481 won the 2019 FRC World Championship, and they've remained a top-tier FRC team since then. 4481 features a spin dexter, full width intake, and high pivot extendo arm. They had one of the most insane string of matches I've ever seen, going to a 4th match against an elite alliance. 4481 more than held their own in those set of matches, and they've got a fantastic chance to punch their ticket to Houston coming up at the Ventura County Regional this week.
I mean, 4481 is definitely a class act. Got a chance to work with them 2016, and they know what they're doing mechanically, and it's very awesome to see their robots up close. They're also very tall. Like if you've ever met Team Taters or them, their drive team very tall.
Well, they're from the Netherlands. Everybody there is like an average of like my height. So, Ryan, you'd fit right in. So.
Yeah. For reference, I'm sitting down. I'm 6'8", and I walk up to them, and it's like, hey, it's like peers. I don't know.
Yeah,
we need to recruit more short, fun hosts. Jot that down.
Rembrandts, by the way, just from their team, watching their OA blogs come through, just a team that just has it right. I mean, they are. I know that, talking from them, they were a little bit worried early on and where their progress was for things, but they just come out firing all cylinders. And actually, I think this might be their best robot yet that they have. So I know I saw somebody in chat put a little low. I think 11 is actually a pretty good spot for a team like this. And I think it's a very well-earned spot for them as well, too. So I look forward to seeing how they do in their next event next week. Now, here's an interesting thing. They got to win next week or they're not going to champs, which I think would be a very odd thing to hear for Team Rembrandts. They have an opportunity to play with 359 next week, and I think those two are the favorites for week 2 going in. But a little bit of pressure on them, as I don't believe any wild cards were generated from Port Hueneme.
Is 4414 in that one as well in Ventura?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think they are. I know there are 3 really good teams there.
Yeah. And
there's going to be an odd one out.
High Tide is there. Yep.
High Tide is there as well. So, them 359 and 4481 are going to be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So I would put them in 4414 then as the favorites, with 359 as the third. But
I agree. The other thing I'll say is that 4481, one of the most inspiring teams in first, they're absolutely in play for both the Impact Award and Engineering Inspiration.
Yeah, so good luck to them. I really hope we get to see them at championships. We also by good coincidence, we have a lot of behind the bumpers coming out, and this team was just released yesterday as well. So if you want to learn a little more about them, go check out more about 4481. Hey, before we get into the top 10, by the way, a couple of things to go through. We're going to be showcasing our clips of the week in just a second, as showcased by all of you and all your submissions. We had so many submissions this week. We try to get in as many as we can. And don't forget, you can submit your clips of the week on our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdates now, preferably by end of Sunday, preferably Twitch clips. We will take some YouTube ones as well. Before we get into the clips of the week, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, SOLIDWORKS, for helping keep fun, loud, live, and independent. Hey, if you are a team that's using SOLIDWORKS, make sure that you head into the 3D Experience platform on SOLIDWORKS. Go to solidworks.com/first, click log into the 3D Experience platform, and you're going to get a whole plethora of resources from anything all year round. So keep this in mind, especially as we get into next year. You can access the game field, a bunch of kit of parts areas. You can see what other teams have been designing and submitted as well, too. A great platform for you to get into. And don't forget that SOLIDWORKS is free for first teams as well, too. So you can register now, even if you want to. If you haven't tried out SOLIDWORKS yet and you want to get it for free, they have Cloud CAD app platforms. They have desktop app platforms. Whatever's right for you, SOLIDWORKS will meet you there. So go to solidworks.com/first, and that will be your opportunity to register and get SOLIDWORKS for free for you and your team. Let's jump into our clips of the week, everybody. So as I said, we have many, many clips that have come in. So thank you to everybody who has submitted for those. These are some awesome ones. Let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, into round 10. Robot's doing a good job.
The cycles allow Red Alliance to win the match, but it's still incredibly close. We've got 30 seconds left.
Position, Nerd Debray, and 108 nearly tipping. Oh! Unfortunately,
696.
Here, you don't usually see them doing such a thing. 38-63 is
Best goal as time expires in autonomous Blue Alliance. They're successful with
Oh no! 23-63.
See what decision they make. 53 comes roaring across, gives someone. Oh! Uh-oh.
And engaged for blue. Can we get one more up there? Red Alliance trying to get two. All of them up there. We have
Striking Vikings. Oh, we have a.
Red Alliance trying to get three robots up on the charging station. They
היינו יצליחו להתנער מזה. זה נראה מאוד מאוד גבולי, נראה שהרובוט של טרייגון יפריע. זה נראה גבולי עד הרגע האחרון, 3 שניות אחרונות. הם מחליקים ברגע האחרון.
87-85. A three balance over here. 11 seconds to go. Can they get it done? 3 seconds. They did.
Ooh! This Red Alliance is topsy-turvy, but they don't fall down. 5 seconds remaining. Looks like Red Alliance is engaged. Can Blue just make a little bit of a move? No way!
They're 2 for sure. All 3 on the red. Oh, come back. Here it goes. Yeah!
This upper bracket. 20 seconds remaining. 83-82 back on its wheels. We have 2 robots engaged with 10 seconds. They're going to go for 3. As time expires. And
taking the initiative, grabbing first go match, heading over. They're trying to line up off of their co-op grid. Their piece of their robot has not left the machine yet, but it's on the ground. We've got 3 robots docked in the red station, not engaged. Blue station, 2 robots up and engaged. And red has balanced it out.
Stopping at the substation, spinning. Wow, they caught air.
Get it. Current score is 101-27. The charge by 32-82 knocks off their teammate from the charge station. They're trying to get on. The Red Alliance today.
Festus quickly moves by. Oh, I'd say we got some parts on the field here now.
oh, and there goes the judges.
Here's the Gorillas going for a mid-level count. Blue Alliance going to see how they can score stuff, and they might have 2 robots.
We have a field fault on one of the charge stations. You can see the approach ramp is. I don't know what time your flight is, but you're not going anywhere.
The game. 9180 makes a complete lane with that cube.
We're in the end game. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3 bots ready to engage the charge station. What's gonna happen for blue? Oh my goodness, with 8 seconds, 7, can they tip up like they used to? They do. 3, 2, we haven't seen this. What's gonna happen?
And then it has a note, MC note. We highly encourage you to sing this. This team's unique mechanism spun us right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round.
And you can find clips of the week right now on our YouTube page, actually, youtube.com/firstupdates. Now, Ari, let's get into our top 10 teams. We're going to break at 5, by the way, to start our giveaway from AnyMark, and also show off our top 50, our 26 through 50, and talk about any snubs. And we also have a reveal video from 1339 Angel Robotics, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, let's start off our top 10. Rising out of the swamps of Riviera Beach, Florida, and Inlet Grove Community High School, it's Children of the Swamp. Winners of the South Florida Regional with a record of 14-3-0. They've got the second highest auto score on StatBotics right now, which, if you caught Tyler's disclaimer at the beginning, might as well put them in first. They score 2 cones on the highest nodes, and then they balance. Being able to complete this auto consistently, along with consistent tele scoring, made them the clear first pick of the event, regardless of rank. They debuted an auto that scored 2 game pieces and aligned with a third after for playoffs, letting their partner engage. Congrats on the win and the Autonomous Award. We're looking forward to seeing the Marsh Madness continue at Week 3 in Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, 179, just keeping up with their tradition of looking great. This robot overall, their scoring wise, I'd like to see in teleop their cycle times get a little bit quicker than what they are, but their auto is definitely dead on, like you mentioned, Ari. I think that is their big improvement. It's just, can we get their teleop cycles going a little bit? You kind of see as they're going, at least in this match here, and I know this is Q44 and not the finals, but like, They kind of have that where like they're not doing things fluid necessarily. So if you look at improvements wise, there's opportunities for you to, get multiple actions going at once instead of like we picked up, now we move the cone, now we do the next thing, sort of thing. And I think something like that will definitely cut down their cycle times pretty dramatically.
I think their handoff has a lot of potential. There's a lot of room for improvement there. And outside of that, handoffs in general are risky, but once you get them working well, I think they've got just insane potential with that robot.
Mm-hmm. This was one of the better handoffs that I looked at. I think that they definitely have potential, but it's getting there. And that's, to me, what kind of puts them in the top 10 at this point.
Yeah, they're a fantastic team, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a risk the handoff, but actually, I think they had one of the better ones that I actually saw. Like the fact that it just kind of their intake holds it and directly gives it to the upper mech was pretty smooth. It certainly wasn't perfect, but I saw some that were quite a bit worse. So I was really impressed with it when I saw it.
It has room to be perfect. It'll get there. So next we're going to move up to number 9. From Highland, Michigan and Huron Valley Schools, it's the Hall of Fame team, the Hot Team. Undefeated and on a hot streak, 17-0-0, they were the winners of the Milford District event, where they were the second rank. And yes, you did hear that right, undefeated and still ranked second. That is Michigan for you. They've got a cone cube 2 game piece auto that they run when they have a partner that can engage an auto, which, again, pretty often it's Michigan. So in tele, they have a collector to hand off to a side elevator, and they focus on cones from the station and cubes from the ground. Their driving looks practiced and intentional, which paid off with a final sweep, taking the event in 2 matches. In addition to this set of matches, 67 also took home the Engineering Inspiration Award, so congrats to them on their gold, silver, cling bling, and good luck Week 4 at Troy 1.
Yeah, last year they had a rough start in their first event where they were semifinalists at MSC. They were knocked out in the corners as well. Did pretty well at championships as division finalists for it. So cool to see Hot back in form and pretty much just dominating this event as they went through. Is watching their robot, especially compete with 35-38. Seemed just like the perfect pairing together. Able to, you watch like as they kind of cross in the field, they're almost like on opposite times. It's almost like they just timed it out where their strategy wise, I really like going in that they were able to just do this. So it just seemed like one robot's picking up, the other robot's going back and forth, and Hot looking really good. I will say, when we look at like a couple of our top teams, they are a little bit slower, like in their sword drive from what I've seen versus some of the other like tier 1 teams or super tier 1s or whatever you want to call them. So I guess on that end, can they get a little bit higher? I'm not sure because I'm not sure how much quicker their drive can get. That might optimize their cycle times.
Hot Team in 35-38, they've got built-in chemistry from working together so many years in a row and both being, at that high level in Michigan. You can see it playing out. They get in there, and it doesn't take a lot for them to mesh.
It's very cool to watch too. I hope we get to see them play together again.
This is a game where like that
MSC.
meshing with your alliance partner is critically important.
It really is. It's all about synergy this year in terms of cycle times, because that spot in the community where you have to score, it's hard to get into, and it's really difficult to get out of if you have another robot in there.
The
without
best
going over the charge
defenders
station.
in this
Yeah.
game are your alliance partners if you don't do that.
Exactly.
There was a match at Wainami Port where I think it was Rembrandt's with 44-14 and also Citrus, and they were all three just packed into that zone just trying to load, and it was just the biggest traffic jam ever. I forget which quals, but that was a 159 match that they had that. But still, watching that, it's like, man, I wonder how much further they could have got for something like that, because that area does get super packed, and I'm curious to see how that meta will evolve.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in the 8th spot from Dallas, Texas, and the Emmett J. Conrad High School, it's the RoboChargers. With a record of 16-1-0, they were rank 1 and winners at the FIT Dallas event. They score a cone and balance an auto, with some attempts at a 2-game-piece auto during playoffs. They've been excellent at cones from the floor in tele. They're charging through defense, and they have the second highest teleop data in the world right now to prove it. They look stellar for week 1. They have a really smart drive team and excellent mechanisms, and I'm sure we'll see them focus more on their autonomous modes in the future. But they showed a lot of promise this weekend, and I can't wait to see where they go. So congrats on the win and an Excellence in Engineering award. We'll see them next at Fort Worth. So my question for you guys is, what do you guys think about the 8th spot for them? Because I think they should be higher. I think they had a slow start, but with their improvement across the event, I think they are a top 5 team.
It's hard to call number 8 a snub, but it's a snub. They're a top 3 team in my opinion. I saw their reveal video come out, and it blew me away more than any other reveal video. Mm-hmm. Their robot, I think it's under 80 pounds with ballast, something like that. They're unbelievably gonna be just unreal this year. I think they might be the team to beat in Texas.
Oh, 100% the team to beat in Texas. Mm-hmm. Absolutely on that front. One thing I'll say is, so I was at Dallas, right, for their day one as well. And I mean, this team by far the best team on the field there. And when I saw that, I'm like, wow, like this could be the best team in first. Now, Wainami kind of changed my mind on that a little bit, but right below that, I would definitely put them there as well too. Another team we have a behind the bumpers with. Go check out their wrists and how that articulates when you watch that on the field. It is so cool, the thought process that's put into that. Many teams don't know that 3005 actually inspired the Rev Swerve drive that many hundreds of teams use as well too, which is really cool. There's a little tidbit in that interview where they mentioned that the actual code name for Rev Swerve is Rev Swerve 3005. So it's really cool to see their inspiration going further. But yeah, I was absolutely blown away watching this team initially. There are some things still with cycle times when you watch versus maybe like a Citrus or something like that, where their lineup and delivery is maybe just a little bit slower than what something like that would be. But I mean, like you said, in Texas, yeah, totally, in my opinion, hands down the best team in Texas. And I would have them top 5.
Yeah. I think it's their collector. They are definitely a touch it, own it kind of game piece kind of team, which is going to be so important in this game, especially when you have both game pieces that you need to be able to manipulate. Definitely one of my favorites. Okay, now for the 7th spot. From Atascadero, California, and Atascadero High School, it's the Greybots. With a record of 8-6-0, they finished in the gray area of the 5th, 6th spot at the Wainami Port Regional. They score a cone and engage in auto, but had a few issues in teleop getting their collecting and placing down smooth. They can bowl the cubes into the hybrid nodes from the edge of the community for some quick points at the beginning of the match, and then cycle from the loading station. A conglomeration of issues led to their defeat in round 2 and sent them to the lower bracket early on, where they were then faced with Powerhouse Alliance of 1678 and 4414. So 973 definitely has room to improve, but they've debuted a strong start to the season that makes me interested to see them play again at week 4 in San Diego. and hopefully leave the gray area of semifinals to a trip to the finals. So they're 37th in terms of teams that have played this year in terms of EPA, with a 29.6. So in my opinion, they are a bit high on this list. Where did everyone else have them this week?
I'll start.
So I think they
go.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'd have them closer. Do they make the top 25? I think so. I think the semifinalist exit is a bit deceiving for this team. I think it's partially where with the number 2 seed being where they were and getting picked up by number 2. I think that was for them an unfortunate circumstance for how the result was. I agree with you. There are definite improvements that are new with this team. I love this bowling strategy, by the way. It's cool. Now, how practical is it? We'll see, especially later meta and how this works out. But I would probably have them closer, somewhere between 10 to 15 is where I would put them.
If you were to ask me where do I think they're going to be at the end of the year, I think they can be a top 10 FRC team by the end of the year. If you're asking me where I think they are this week, I agree with Tyler. Maybe, borderline making this list. I think there are, plenty of other teams that had a better week.
Wow, a 7 borderline making the list might be one of the biggest discrepancies we've seen in the FC Top 25.
We got new host bringing hot takes, Justin. So.
Yeah, I love that. But no, I think, people tend to vote in blocks. And I think, the finals at Wanami had the full attention of the FRC community. So that event just got a lot of attention in general. So I think if that drew a lot of voters maybe from that area, 973 could have gotten some votes by that as well. But they're one of the best teams in the world. They're definitely going to improve, and it'll be a fun thing we can track throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, let's move on to our 6th spot. So in the 6th spot, what is OP Robotics? From Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada, and Orchard Park Secondary School, everyone knows who OP Robotics is, but everybody is wondering what their bot is looking like this year. With a 16-2-0 record, they're currently the number 1 ranked team in Ontario, winners of the Newmarket Complex event, where they ranked number 1 after going 11-1 through qual matches. OP has a 1.5 game piece auto, where they score a cone, grab another off the middle, and balance. They'd post some of the highest scores of the event in the upper bracket, but in match 11 they faced a G206 red card for tipping. Nonetheless, they powered through the lower bracket with the win in 2 finals matches, 148-111. They have the highest EPA score in the world right now, as Tyler mentioned earlier, 78.4, with 46.4 of that in teleop. So to quote another source, they are statistically beating out everyone at competition in week 1 across the world. In other words, putting the OP in OP Robotics once again. We'll see them next at McMaster University in week 5. Congrats on the win, and good luck with your season 2056.
Somebody posted this in chat, but I do wonder some validity to this. Unfortunately, the Ontario videos were delayed at getting out, and the archives were taken down right after the match. So, we had troubles on FRC Recap even getting videos to show of these events as well, too. And I've been told by Ontario that they are definitely working on it. I've spoke to somebody close to the matter in regards to it, so I hope these videos get out soon because, OP Robotics, last year had 3 weeks delay, like many teams in Canada, of getting started and had a pretty rough start, especially by their standards. I talked to Tyler a couple times during the season, and you could tell he was very confident in their team this year and where they were going to be. So congratulations to them on a great start. The only thing I got to ask are what the hell are these side camera angles that are in this webcast? So this is I'm sorry. This needs to change. This is I mean, I'll bypass the activate window symbol and the bar on the bottom. That's fine. But these side cameras do absolutely nothing for what the thing is. It's very distracting to me trying to watch any of this.
I also thought it was distracting, but maybe it's our boomer mentality, because I threw this up with my students. We wanted to watch the finals, and I was like, guys, what is with those cameras? Like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just me then. I thought they were pretty distracting.
You're an age closer to the matter. Is this our side cameras the new in? Are they? I don't know. Are they on fleek? I don't know what the current term is. All right.
No, they're terrible.
Give me that wacky side view that they have by the ref's feet. Yeah, I'll take that over this.
Any other comments on 2056's performance?
I think 6 is maybe a little low for them. I
slide.
agree with the EPA here. I think they're a top 3 team in FRC in terms of performance. In terms of how much I enjoy watching them, they're number 1. Maybe I'm a little biased because we've got a similar style robot. And I told my drive team, just do what 2056 is doing and you'll be just fine.
That's usually pretty sound advice.
Advice to
Good
live
advice
by,
anytime.
yeah. They're wacky. They're like, they got the under thing. Yeah, no. If you got a chance to go and watch a match video of them do it, because I don't know if I can describe that in words.
Justin, I couldn't. Would you say you were going to reserve thought for now on them?
Just for one more slide. Yep.
All right, sounds good. So that's that's going to take us to what will be our top 5. But before we get to that, we got a couple things to go over here. First off, we are going to start our giveaway from our friends at AndyMark. So AndyMark is actually giving away a few different things, kind of a cool pack together. So we'll bring those up on screen in just a second there. So AndyMark is going to be giving away a charged up GameCube piece, which is awesome. They're also going to be giving away a set of April tag stickers as well, so you can check those out. And then lastly, they're also giving away. Oh, that's the wrong one. Don't screenshot that. Yeah, sticker pack of 4. Sticker pack of 4 going on there as well too. So if you're interested in winning this, go ahead and type in the keyword cube. Type cube all over chat. That's your opportunity to win for this. Oh yeah, I put it down here so now you can see that. So cube is your opportunity to win that. Before we get into our 26 through 50 and other potential snubs, we're gonna hop in. Our friends from 1339 Angel Robotics sent us their reveal video. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what they have to offer. Let's bring up, by the way, a little bit more about our voting here on the top 25 for week number 1 and what that looks like as well. By the way, this is just a dispersion of our voting breakdown from this week. I know the yellow's hard to find or read. It was 20.7%. Fairly for actually FRC top 25, pretty well dispersed between where teams are located in that. A little heavy on the south for voting overall, but interesting always to see where the voting breakdown is for it. Let's look at our 26 through 50 teams, talk about some of our potential snubs of the week, and you have them on here. Some teams just missing out on the top 25. We'll kind of just go around the horn. Ryan, we'll start with you. What team, in your opinion, was either on this list or that didn't make this list that you think should have made the top 25?
2 that stand out for me are 2363 Triple Helix and 3847 Spectrum. I think both of those teams really balled out in week 1. Definitely earned a spot in the top 25. And then I'm going to add a couple more just because I'm a Minnesota biased a little bit. Nightcrawler, 2052, 5913 Patriotics, and 6045 Saber Robotics. I don't know that they're not appropriately ranked, but they were all really fantastic teams up here.
Ari, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Nightcrawler. I think they made my top 25. I do love them though. But I also want to bring in New England here and say 5687, the Outliers, were very good this season. Definitely a snub at 49. Definitely had them higher. As well as 7407, the Wired Boars, came out with a stellar robot. They're an open alliance team. If you want to check them out and their matches, fantastic EPA, really good teleoperated. So hope to see more of them soon, but we'll see. Definitely a snub this week.
Justin, any teams for you?
For me, it was definitely Saber Robotics at 38. Easily could have been in the top 25.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to echo what Ryan said about Spectrum. The teams are really avoided in large part, or didn't avoid it, but auto modes over the cable protector were pretty rare, especially multiple piece autos. But the advantage that Spectrum has is they shoot the cubes from beyond the cable protector. So it really was a huge advantage to have them in your alliance. The open alliance, I tracked many of the teams, and I wasn't really sure where shooting cubes was going to end up. But to see it on the field and executed so well by Spectrum was awesome. So I thought they might at least get maybe a few more points just for style, for how they performed. But it was awesome to see.
And now Tyler with the biggest snub of the week.
Yeah, I mean, by far,
Yeah.
it's got to be Petty Robotics, right? Coming out of FMA, 5895. FMA, we got to step it up here a little bit and get some more representation. for what's going on. But Petty Robotics it looked so good, 13-5-0 at Hatboro Horsham this week, and definitely looking for big things for them. They were ranked, if we looked from the community, 69th. Definitely way too low for a team like this. So very interested to see how they do in future weeks. There's always other teams to talk about as well. Gems 4362 would be one other team that come up on my list as well. And definitely a couple other teams from Israel that probably could have hopped in. We always see those couple perennials that are going to be high up, but a couple of the other ones that probably could have been deserving. Definitely top 50 and a couple of them in the top 25 as well. So let's go into our top 5 course chat. Let us know which teams you thought should have made top 50, top 25. We'll be posting all these in a little bit as well, too. And don't forget to keep typing in Cube for the Andy Mark giveaway. We'll draw for that right after our number 1 team as we get into our top 5, Justin.
In that 5th spot is Team 2910 from Mill Creek, Washington. Henry M. Jackson High School. It's Jack in the Bot. 17-0, undefeated winners of the Glacier Peak District event. So the last official FRC match that 2910 played was the Einstein Round Robin in 2022, and they began their request to return to the Einstein field this past weekend. Arguably the head of how Swerve uses a short, compact design to full effect, gracefully cycling and scoring cones and cubes at will. They were the only team in the world that I saw, and granted I didn't see every match, able to score 3 game pieces in auto consistently. To be frank, and this is why I pause my opinion, 2910 and 2056 were absolutely the class of the week. I don't think it's very close either. I think those two, 2010 and 2056, were the best teams that I saw. To see them both at 5 and 6 was a little bit disappointing for me. But if they have their eyes set on another trip to Einstein, they sure got it started off right. So congrats on another great machine from Jack in the Bot. And it's just one of the most impressive I saw. And it's crazy in a week 1 event to see how good they are. To see where they might end up going already with a 3-piece auto is. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to see where it ends up. But they have a great robot.
That's one thing that I think applies to both of our previous 2 teams, 2910 and 2056. Where do they go from here?
Yeah,
they're like 95% optimized for what they can theoretically accomplish.
Correct.
There's going to be marginal improvement, but they're already doing all the things. I don't know where this game goes from here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's going to be
with capped game pieces, it's waiting for their other alliance members to catch up, and then playing under defense.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you. Jack in the Bot, I thought, looked absolutely phenomenal. It just seems, Justin, I don't know about you, but looking in the past, it just seems like they just have troubles breaking past number 5 so many years for things.
It's funny you said that, because this slide deck that we're working on is a copy from I don't know when we ever did it last year, and sure enough, I got to 5, and it was
oh really
Jack in the Bot right there at 5. So I was like, wow, this is they definitely seem to have trouble
same
breaking,
old tune apparently. So
yeah,
I mean, and we one of the things I will say, and Justin, going back to this, that we have started seeing more and more representation from PNW come out as well, like from our community as well. I think our community has grown there quite a bit. So obviously very well deserving. We didn't really talk about any other PNW teams, so I hope in future weeks we'll get a chance to do that too.
Yeah.
All right. If you ever wanted a 2023 robot that fit under the 2016 low bar, this is it.
You're the only one.
Only one.
I like that. All right. So in the 4th spot is Team 1690 from Hazafan, Israel. It's Orbit, 16-1-0. And we're the winners of the ISR District event number 1. So Orbit made a splash with the robot release video, as they tend to do. It was one of the first to be released this season, and they backed it up with a solid performance this weekend at ISR. The robot is far from simple, but they play the game very effectively. One of the coolest features of the robot is their cube shooting, which I alluded to a little bit with Spectrum. But it was very effective and useful in clutch situations. They teamed up with 1577 and 1576, and were able to take the event win in 5 straight matches. So another excellent machine and gameplay strategy from Orbit, and you can root them on at their next event, which is this weekend at ISR number 3. So yeah, I really, again, I was not sure how cube shooting was going to play out in actual matches, but it's the only way Orbit scores cubes. They don't transfer into their arm. And it works very well. I'm just really impressed with teams that were able to do it. It's something that our team didn't even really look at. And I'm always impressed when I see it working on the field so well.
Their differential end effector too is I feel like something only they would do and only they could do.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're using some kind of a AI to detect the orientation of the cone so that they would, position it correctly to grab it. They're doing some insane software stuff that like only 3 teams in the world can probably pull off.
Yep.
I think it's machine learning that they're using for the cone.
Yeah, Orbit is one of those. So, like, I mean, I'm not a programming person by any means. So, usually when students get really in the depths, it's difficult for me to follow in interviews. But Orbit, I just lose. Like, there's no clue. At some point, it's just full gloss over. Luckily, the pits are super loud, so I can use that as an excuse, anyways. But yeah, Orbit here. I mean, can we agree Orbit has the most complex robot of this year so far?
100%.
That we've seen.
Yeah, that we've seen.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I wonder. They did have they have improvements still to make, for where they are. And it kind of reminds me of last year where to me, I was so bullish on Orbit, and then, champs come and they had some struggles with that. And I hope this doesn't happen to them. Do I think they have an amazing shot to take ISR, DCMP? Absolutely for that. But come championship level, they know this, that they need to keep stepping up a notch and work out those kinks if they want to compete at a top tier level. So, for me, we talked about other teams that might be in tops as well. I personally had 1690 a few spots lower. I still think they're a world-class team, but I still think they have more improvement to do. I mean, definitely the coolest robot, in my opinion, on the field, but a little bit more improvements that still need to come from this team.
For sure. All right, so we're going to go from 4 to 3. We're going to stay right here in Israel, though, and talk about Team 1577 Steampunk, 17-0, undefeated winners of the ISR event number 1. So there might be a new leader in the stable of teams coming out of Israel. 1577 played smooth and earned 4 RPs in 4 of their matches and used those bonuses to edge out 1690 for the top spot. Surprised nobody, they ended up playing together and employed the onslaught of cycling that nobody else at the event could match. Remember, 1577 won 2 district events last year, the district championship and their division, making an appearance on the Einstein field. They are quickly putting together a similar resume as they look to add more blue banners as the season goes on. So good luck to 1577 again just this weekend. Where we'll see if 1577 and 1690 can make it 2 for 2. So for both Steampunk and Orbit, they were like a week 0.5 event. So it does seem like there's been a little bit of delay since they played last. But we'll get to see them both on the field again this week.
Yeah, it's I think it is technically still a week 2 event, but it will be like on Monday, I think is when it starts. So yeah, so it'll be interesting for that. Yeah, 1577. It's kind of is like the antithesis of 1690, where like they're top tier team, but relies more on simplicity to get the work done on their team. Doesn't mean they're a simple robot by any means, but that linear slide that they have that pops their arm out, that sort of thing, is just from a mechanical side a little bit simpler than what Orbit does. Yet they're a absolute top tier team. They world finalists last year, right? So close to taking the world championship. And for me right now, between the two, I really like 1577 as a little bit. If we're going to compare the 2 Israel teams right now that are in top spot, I would put 1577 higher than Orbit. Now, are we going to say the same thing by ISR champs or anything like that? I don't know. But both teams, I mean, it is incredible to see how far Israel has come since they've gone districts. There are many other teams from Israel that are deserving to be in the top 25 too, but these 2 teams are really just a complete branch ahead of what we've seen from everybody else.
Yeah, and we're kind of old guys, and we're so used to districts now that we don't talk about it as much. But when districts first started to roll out, and 1577 is a great example, and there's a lot of other teams as well that we talk about seemingly every week at the top 25 now, just how much districts have helped them play more matches and really improve and get better over the course of the season, and they're a case example for that.
So, Justin, are you saying you would like to not pay like $15,000 a year in regionals so you can do districts?
Yeah, I mean, we go to 3 events and we pay out the nose for them. But yeah, if New York ever gets their act together.
No, that's a dead horse. That's a very dead horse.
Very, very dead. Okay, so all the drama is in the 2 spot. So usually we like to spam the chat with who we think is 2. And now just pause and wait for that to occur. But a good list this week. Just want to thank Ari and Ryan for stepping in and doing a great job with the top 25. It's been awesome. And Tower leading us, of course. We'll see who ends up being. All right.
It's 254.
It might be.
Oh no, wait, 2 spot. It's 2056.
Yeah, true. It's a good throwback. I get a message from Tyler about that one now.
There we go.
All right, so all the drama is in the 2 spot, and here we have Team 41-44. From Ventura, California, it's High Tide. Did I get that?
44-14. Yeah.
44-14. That's what I thought. I was like, what the heck? And when I said it, I was like, this is not right. From Ventura, California, it's High Tide. 14-5-1 overall. One of the winners of the Winemee Port Regional. So a quick note here about the difficulty of FRC game design. Many events this weekend I looked at saw low single digits 4RP matches. This event, however, had almost 20. So extremely competitive event. And I'm sure many of you were able to see the finals. But what got them there was a wicked fast cycling robot, perhaps one of the best FRC, handoff robots in FRC right now. And the scary part is they're at their floor still. Their auto modes were certainly not perfect. And they plan to keep right in the tide as they progress through their season. They battled through 5 finals matches in order to earn that blue banner. So congrats on another great robot, and good luck this weekend. I feel like teams are just playing like back-to-back all the time now, where teams just avoid it like the plague. But good luck this weekend in Ventura for a High Tide, 44-14. I did hold off a little bit on explaining what happened, because we might talk about it a little bit more in a second. But what do you guys think about High Tide?
Yeah, I think you're completely right when you say that this is their floor, and this is scary. Like, High Tide, definitely one of these teams that over the past few years has gone from like very good to absolutely elite, world class kind of team. So just seeing them at a week 1 event with this kind of robot is phenomenally scary.
This whole event kind of, gives you a little of an idea of like, what is the championship level going to look like? We're already here in week 1. Like, where the heck do we go from here? 44-14, top 3 team in California, arguably. Yeah, just going to be very, very fun to watch.
They really are, huh? That's cool to think about.
By the way, I see more and more teams doing the High Tide pit now. I've talked to a couple in Texas that are putting that pit together now and stuff. So if you haven't seen that, I really wanted to. We didn't get a chance to do it at Chesney last year. We really wanted to do like a Cribs version of their pit, but then none of the students knew what Cribs was. So that'll happen. So, but no, like the showcase, because like sincerely, like this team, they're at what is High Tide is technically only like a 3rd-year team, right? They're a spinoff of another team, if I remember correctly. But they've only been around for a few years, and to see what this team has done is just so cool. Shout out to Anshul, by the way, who is been a big supporter of fun, and I know I've gotten a chance to talk to him quite a few times about the passion that they bring to their team. So High Tide, wow, you guys are just awesome.
What is their pit like? I've never seen their pit.
You've never seen their pit?
I've never seen their pit.
God.
No.
Oh my goodness, it's as beautiful as the robots.
Yeah, if you bring up our behind the bumpers from last year, you can see it's complete. Yeah. Well, the video is very blown out because their pit's so bright, right? But sincerely, go check if you have not seen their pit. There's some stuff on Cheap Delphi, or you can look up their behind the bumpers last year to see what it looks like. It is
usually I'm trying
gorgeous.
to look at the robot in behind the bumpers.
Yeah,
not looking behind the bumpers.
Oh, behind the bumpers.
There we go.
I like that. It's a new series. All right, so the first team, number 1, FRC Top 25 Week 1, 2023, is, of course, Team 1678 from Davis, California. Davis Senior High School. It's the Citrus Circuits. 18-2-1 overall. That's right, 21 matches for the winners, the Winemee Port Regional. So this is an event that will go down as having one of the most intense finals in recent memory. The Citrus machine features a telescoping arm, forklift-style end climb, and a wide intake for both cubes and cones. It's fast, well-programmed, and things were looking good until upper bracket match 1. An unfortunate red card set off a triumph through the lower bracket for 1678, 44-14, and 696. They battled back through a series of winner-go-home matches to reach the finals. Then in the finals, match 1 was back and forth, and it looked like Blue had it. It ended in a tie. If you notice, it was a failed climb by 1678, but a brilliant park in the dying seconds that earned the tie. Incredible call. Then in back and forth, match 2 and 3, each alliance earning a win, came the final match. Red Alliance came out of auto with a huge 34-point advantage. And then the Blue Alliance, 1678, battled back to earn the win. It was incredible. Congrats on an electrifying win. If you want to hear more about it from the man himself, Mark Cressida was on recap. But wow, what a finals. I'm sure all of us watched it. We're in awe of it. It was some of the most exciting match play I've seen in a while, especially at a week 1 event. It was electric.
Yeah, this is definitely looking at games for, especially coming in to this week. I wasn't feeling too optimistic overall. My faith has been renewed. This watch, once again, we talked about this earlier, like watching these robots go as fast as they are, it is difficult to keep up. And we're watching on a fisheye camera where we don't have to turn our heads that much. It's just sincerely for all of us, and quite a few of us have been behind the glass for many different aspects, right? Could you imagine driving robots this fast? Like, it just blows my mind to think of, like, this is even possible at this point, to see robots move on the field as quick as these are.
We're getting up to hockey speeds now.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
So sincere question, do you think there is a potential that in future years that we might see a speed limit on robots? Could it happen?
No, it'll be a motor limit, if anything. If they're going to go that route, you got to do it either via battery or motors or... and I hope they don't do any of it.
Plus, will it be
something on the field
meters?
Too,
who knows?
Yeah.
Also, if you put something on the field, like 2016, you're not going to get up to that speed.
Even 2020 with the metal berms that they had, I mean that kills your 20 feet per second zooming around the field swerve drive.
And we're never going to see 2014 again, though. Like, we're never going to have that open field.
I mean, this is pretty close. So
this is close.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're all right. So I think having some sort of obstacle in the future will prevent that. One thing real quick before we get to you, Ryan, I talked to some members of the GDC as well. And I'll just tell you, like, this game was designed 2 years ago when like 10% of robots were using swerves, so maybe 20. It's like quadrupled since then. So, when they were looking at the game and how it was going to be, they didn't expect this to happen either, with swerve being such a COTS items now. I think that will impact game design, maybe not next year, but definitely in the year after.
Yeah, that's a great point. I did not know that. It's a great way to think about that for sure. It makes a lot of sense now thinking about that. And one thing I'll say about the speed of the games, it definitely happens, I think, pretty incrementally. So it's not apparently obvious to all of us. Like, we kind of get used to the speed increases as we go. But, our students were talking about, like, oh, the balancing is kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, they did back in 2012. Let's watch a video. And it's like the robots are painfully slow.
They're a lot bigger, too.
Huge. They're huge, and they're slow. So, yeah, it definitely a little bit of a transition. But go ahead, Ryan. I know you had something to say.
Yeah, no, I was just curious to hear this group's opinion on the fork potential meta game. I mean, Citrus and a couple of others have incorporated a non-traditional balance, a fork to do their balance at the end. I don't know if Mike Corsetto talked about it yesterday much, but curious to know what you guys think about that and whether, more teams are going to adopt that.
I'll chime in. So I first saw it on Wired Boars when they showcased it, I think, week 2 on the Open Alliance show for things. I don't know if we're going to see will we see more teams? Yes. Will we see that many more? Probably not. So I think there's going to be some teams that will want to try it. My concern is that are they going to try it in vain? Like, I don't know if every team can pull it off, because you have to think about your robot design when it comes to adding those forks, right? Like, not every robot's going to be compatible with what that is, right. and where their center of gravity is, what kind of angle you need to tilt that, and getting all that in time. I don't know if that will happen.
Yeah, I think also with how many robots actually built very tiny this year, I don't think we'll see a lot of it.
Yeah, it would have been interesting if Cheesecake was still a thing, if anybody had attempted to add this sort of mechanism to a partner that was maybe well suited for it. We have something that we're cooking up that's not quite forklift style, but definitely something different. So I think teams are still thinking about endgame and trying to make it easier on their drivers, especially on the Einstein field. Like, it's going to be, you need 3 robots up every match, both sides. So trying to figure out how that works, depending on, pre-match or pre-show, Ryan and I were talking about pre-scouting, and, you have to look at your field and say, okay, who are the top bots? What are their frame sizes? How can we make three robots happen? If your alliance has 2 big robots, how do you fit that third one on? And there's going to be some really interesting pit scouting and different things to consider when you're trying to form a alliance that you hope can go to Einstein.
And if you're watching live, by the way, we'll stick around for a couple of minutes after stream for a little after talk for those who are able to and host-wise. But let's go ahead and draw for our giveaway from our friends at AnnieMark. Once again, they're giving away a whole a full swag pack there, which is pretty awesome for them to do. So we had from AndyMark the charged up cube, April Take stickers, and also the AndyMark sticker pack. So our winner of that is going to be Ryoka. Congratulations, subscriber, by the way. Lots of rigged emotes in chat because we clearly have rigged it for Ryoka to win. But congratulations, Ryoka. Make sure you shoot me a message so we can get you that sticker pack. And by the way, huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed through either Twitch Prime or with their subscriptions as well, too. Big shout out to Nick Cousins, who just did that. And also all the bits we received this week. By the way, for those who don't know, our Twitch revenue that comes in now, we're actually providing to a creators fund that we're dispersing out to our creators that are on stream as well, too. So for those who don't know, I do fund full-time. I take a salary. The rest of the money we're trying to disperse into that creators fund for all these people who are dedicating their time as well, too. So it really goes to a great cause. If you are doing through Twitch or anything else as well, too, we definitely appreciate you for that. So thank you for tuning in to the week 1 FRC Top 25. We have tons of shows. If you didn't watch yesterday, FRC Recap starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, followed by FRC Roundup at approximately 9 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, FRC Top 25 here at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. Tons of YouTube content coming out. We are starting to get correspondents from all over the world creating behind the bumpers content. So it won't just be me all the time. And so we're excited to see some of those other ones that come out, some great teams that we had, including a couple that released today, like 973 and Spectrum. We released those out today, so make sure you check out all those videos. Clips of the week debuting as well, too, and many, many other content pieces, previews, analysis, and more. Go check them out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/firstupdates now. And don't forget to vote. Polls will open on Sunday, usually. They will open by 5 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we open up early, but they do close on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. That will be the same link every week for those new polls as well. And don't forget to submit clips of the week at our Discord, discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. And submit your clips of the week in the clips of the week channel. So Ari and Ryan coming on the first time. Well, no, Ari, you've been on for FRC Top 25 before, second one now. But Ryan, both great job to both of you. Thank you so much for coming on. You guys rocked it, and we'll see you hopefully in a couple of future weeks as well. And Justin, always great to have you on, buddy. It's been so many years now, and we're still rocking it together. Appreciate you, man.
It's a blast.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up here. And once again, if you're watching live, we'll stick around for a couple more minutes for some after talk. But for First Updates Now and FRC Top 25, I'm Total Worlds. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. If your team is using SOLIDWORKS, make sure you log into the 3D Experience platform to gain access to tutorials, collaborate with other users, and download the Charge Up field and kit up parts. Go to solidworks.com/first and click on Log into 3D Experience platform to gain access. The Charged Up competition season is here. We have a ton of live Twitch and YouTube content coming to you. All of our uploads and archives, including shows, behind the bumpers, analysis, and more, are available at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Check out all of our live shows on Mondays and Tuesdays at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.